Can you imagine living in a world where there was no electricity, no transportation, or even the internet? It's hard to picture, right? We've come to depend on so many things that we often take for granted, but what if I told you there was a time when none of these existed? Now, what if I told you there are 10 inventions that completely change the course of history, reshaping the way we live, work, and connect with each other today? Curious to know what they are? Let's dive into this journey through the greatest breakthroughs that shaped our world, and by the end, you might just wonder how we ever lived without them. Starting with something that affects our daily lives in ways we probably don't even notice anymore, we have the invention of the wheel. It's so simple and ancient, yet it revolutionized transportation and the movement of goods. Before the wheel, moving heavy loads required immense physical effort, but with this invention, the world suddenly became more mobile. Wheels made it possible for humans to transport goods, build more efficient agricultural systems, and travel over great distances. From horse-drawn carts to the wheels on our modern cars, and even airplanes, this simple device set the foundation for travel and trade across continents. It's fascinating how one round object became a critical building block for civilizations. Just think, without the wheel, we wouldn't have cars, airplanes, or even the machinery that produces the everyday items we use. Now, imagine how you would communicate with someone across the globe if there were no phones. Another incredible invention that changed the world was the telephone. When Alexander Graham Bell first demonstrated the telephone in 1876, it was like magic. Being able to talk to someone miles away without shouting through a long tube seemed unreal. The telephone revolutionized how people communicated, turning the world into a much smaller place. Over time, the telephone evolved from a simple voice communication device to a complex tool that now fits in our pockets as smartphones. These little gadgets let us not only call but also video chat, text, and browse the internet. The telephone's journey is remarkable, showing how an initial invention can keep evolving, shaping the future in unimaginable ways. Speaking of connecting the world, the internet is arguably one of the most life-altering inventions in human history. Invented in the late 20th century, the internet revolutionized communication, access to information, and commerce. Today, we rely on the internet for almost everything, whether it's working, learning, shopping, or just catching up with friends. The impact of the internet can't be overstated. It's brought the world closer together, allowed for the creation of new industries, and completely changed how businesses operate. Imagine how different life would be if we couldn't access information with a few clicks or tap into the world's knowledge in seconds. It's hard to even remember how we functioned before Google and social media platforms. The internet opened doors to opportunities we never knew existed and continues to shape the future in ways we are still discovering. But none of these technological marvels would be possible without electricity. Invented by pioneers like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, the harnessing of electricity allowed humanity to power homes, factories, and cities. The moment electricity was harnessed, it marked the dawn of the modern world. Think about it. Without electricity, there wouldn't be light bulbs, computers, or even refrigerators. In fact, most of the modern conveniences we depend on every day would disappear. Can you imagine trying to live without electricity in today's world? It powers nearly everything we use and do, from the lights we switch on when it gets dark to the devices we use for entertainment and work. It's safe to say that electricity lit the way to our future and continues to energize innovation. Another mind-blowing invention that dramatically changed the world was the airplane. Before the Wright brothers took their first powered flight in 1903, flying was considered an impossible dream. Humanity had always looked at birds in envy, but it took centuries of trial and error before humans could finally conquer the skies. Now, we can fly halfway around the world in just hours, making distant countries feel like our next-door neighbors. Air travel has not only made it easier for people to explore new cultures, but also played a massive role in global trade, tourism, and even the exchange of ideas. Think about how air travel has shaped globalization. Without airplanes, international business and tourism wouldn't be the same. Paper, invented in ancient China, revolutionized how we shared knowledge and ideas. Before its invention, people wrote on clay tablets or animal skins, which were bulky and hard to transport. Paper made books more accessible, spreading education and empowering societies. Without paper, literacy would have spread much slower, making it one of the most important, yet often overlooked inventions. It also set the stage for newspapers, which helped inform the world long before the internet existed. Penicillin, discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1928, transformed medicine by curing bacterial infections that were once deadly. Before this breakthrough, even minor infections could be fatal. Penicillin not only saved countless lives, but also opened the door to other antibiotics, forever changing healthcare and survival rates across the globe. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century, made it possible to mass-produce books and spread knowledge quickly. Before this, books were rare and expensive, limiting education to the wealthy. The printing press fueled cultural and scientific revolutions, like the Renaissance and Enlightenment, shaping the modern world. When we think of inventions that changed the world, we can't leave out the automobile. Before cars, people relied on horses or walking to get from place to place, limiting how far they could travel. The invention of the car opened up new possibilities for freedom, mobility, and even urban development. Today, we can hop into a car and travel hundreds of miles in a matter of hours. Cars have become an essential part of our daily lives, and cities, highways, and entire economies have been built around them. The automobile truly transformed how we move through the world. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about the invention of the computer. While early computers were huge, expensive machines that took up entire rooms, today they fit in the palm of our hands. The computer has revolutionized almost every aspect of life: business, education, healthcare, entertainment, you name it. Computers have given rise to automation, artificial intelligence, and have enabled scientific breakthroughs that we couldn't even dream of before. The digital age we live in would not exist without this invention. It's hard to imagine a world without computers, as they've become an indispensable tool for nearly everyone on the planet. So, there you have it, 10 inventions that have completely transformed the world. From the humble wheel to the mind-boggling power of the computer, each of these breakthroughs has left a permanent mark on how we live, communicate, and progress. It's amazing to think how far we've come, and even more thrilling to wonder what the next life-changing invention will be. Now, before we wrap things up, if you enjoyed this journey through history's greatest inventions, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, Mr. Helix, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more fascinating videos just like this one. What do you think the next big invention will be? Let us know in the comments below.